Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 210 of the Terminal City FC podcast, part of the Area 51 Sports Network. Josh Ray joined alongside Nathan Durr as per usual. So, I'm still not recovered from Saturday night. I don't think, Nathan, you have either.
Nope.
That was probably the greatest game both of us have ever covered as media. For many, I guess the greatest Whitecaps game they'll ever see, especially those who are inside BC Place, because that was absolute cinema. Whitecap,
Yeah.
this game had everything.
You know what? It was right even from before the kickoff. It was the electricity that was going through the fans, the tifo that the supporters dropped from the upper bowl, which was fantastic. They were loud, they were passionate, and it was good to go. And the other thing I think we need to do, we have to credit the number of LAFC fans that traveled up, had their own march towards the stadium, and were just as passionate for their team as all the supporters were for the Whitecaps. So, anytime you have that in a stadium, it just adds to the electricity of the building. And I thought that was really, really good.
Yeah, almost 54,000 sold out crowd, BC Place. LAFC fans, they had their own march to the match, the 3532, I believe they're called.
I was watching a video of one of the guys that was kind of vlogging the march and their experience in Vancouver, and then all the people in the stands. There had to be several hundred at least that made the trip up.
Yeah, there had to be.
Yeah.
Plus the amount of people from the Korean community watching the game in support of Son Heung-min.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this game, the crowd and everything, the blue towels, Vancouver Whitecaps, one of the greatest games in their history, one of the greatest games in Vancouver sports history. First half, all Vancouver, possession based, couldn't leave any space for LAFC, and LAFC were having trouble getting up the pitch. They were getting out of danger with the Whitecaps, forcing turnovers, and it paid off with an incredible pass from Yohei Takaoka to find a streaking Emmanuel Sabe, and he beat Hugo Lloris.
It was really, really interesting goal because for as much as the Whitecaps love possession and build up through the back, through their wingers, this was the most direct ball goal you will ever see. It's almost an anti-Whitecaps goal. But talking with communication staff afterwards, this is something that they've been working on as a set play in training because they know how good Yohei is in distribution. So why not use that as another tool in your arsenal if the opportunity arises? Kind of an interesting setup because Takioka got the ball after a stoppage in play. It was a drop ball by the referee. So it was like everyone was a little bit sleeping at that point because we had a stoppage in play. To find Sabi running off the defender, making space, and Takioka to find him with a pass that, I don't know, what was that, 60, 70 yards?
Something like that.
It was a goal that you're maybe not likely to see the Whitecaps do every day, but to see that they actually have that in their back pocket was phenomenal.
Yeah, perfect timing of the run and awareness from Sabi to receive that long ball from Takaoka. And the Whitecaps continued to push off the corner kick from Sebastian Berhalter. Thomas Muller's header stopped by Hugo Lloris, but there's a huge rebound. No LAFC defender in sight for Matias Laborda to pounce it in.
You gotta admit that's not an easy goal for Laborda to score. Yes, he's very, very close, but the angle of that shot was so extreme that the only way he could get that past Lloris was to put it through his legs. And that's exactly what happened. It was a great initial reaction save from Hugo Lloris off Muller's header. But you could say that there wasn't a lot of power in the header. Lloris, rather than punching it away, maybe should have been able to grab it. It's kind of a tough one to kind of, reanalyze after the fact. But, it is one that I'm thinking that they probably would have wanted back, especially because it happened so late in the first half.
Yeah, it happened right when stoppage time was beginning, I believe.
Just into the first minute of stoppage time.
Yeah, just the first minute of stoppage time. But yeah, that was you couldn't have asked for a better half. Maybe you could have asked for more goals, but that was a perfect half from the Whitecaps. But
LAFC did not have a single shot at all in the first half.
They had that couple corners but they never really did anything with them.
You know, it was a weird half for them because they were really attacking their right channel through Nathan Ordaz. Time and time again, that was the avenue they were looking at. And I'm wondering if they were looking at that because Matias Laborda was playing as left back. It's a little bit out of position for him. Yes, he's been there before, but it's not what we're normally accustomed to. And I wonder if Trindolo was looking at that as a possible weak link. It wasn't. It wasn't. You had Laborda doing a good job. Ali Ahmed on that side, who was tracking back whenever needed. And anytime Laborda was up and maybe caught a little bit out of position, Ralph Priso was scooping in behind to take him on every time. Ordaz ended up being taken off I think at the half, actually. And I thought that was actually a little harsh on Ordaz because you know what it reminded me? It reminded me of the blindsided pass in hockey where, you know, it's not the person receiving the puck, it's the person making the pass because you're making the pass to someone who's in a dangerous position. Every time Ordaz was given the ball, he had 3 guys right around him. There was nothing he could do. So the expectation that he should have been able to do something, I think was a little bit naive. And I think it was a little bit harsh on him.
Yeah, and the Whitecaps were really closing down Denny Bouanga and Son in that first
They
half.
were completely taken out of that first half. The other one you can really say that did not have a great game, and he was taken off at the half too, was Tafari at center back, playing kind of in the middle of that initial back three. Yeah, not a good night. He was the guy that was definitely sleeping on Sabi's goal.
Yeah,
and
cooked by Ali Ahmed that first half too, given the way he was taking them on.
Yeah, Ali Ahmed was eating him for dinner in that first half. Second half, though, we've talked about it before. A 2-0 or basically a 2-goal lead in any sport is the most dangerous lead ever.
Yeah. LAFC, we mentioned the subs. They changed from their 3-4-3 to a 4-3-3 and started to actively press more. And then that overwhelmed the Whitecaps because LAFC controlled the play. Son and Bouanga were trying to find spaces in behind the Whitecaps defense. And Son did with Marky Delgado with that good ball over the top of the Whitecaps defense. Yeah. Son had like 3 cracks at it, but he was not missing from there.
Yeah, Matias Laborda even headed off one of the initial shots off the line. Yeah, he was literally lying like supine on the ground. But it's just that no one was taking the man. It was a bit of a scramble, and eventually it kind of got bungled over the line. But they don't have to look pretty; they just have to cross.
Yeah, Whitecaps looked very overwhelmed in that second half. Jesper Sorensen talked about it after the game that a big reason why they were so poor in that second half was because their passes were long and just not good.
Yeah, one of the things, especially if you're playing a possession-based game, is you want to keep your passes short. You want to control the ball at all kind of areas of the pitch. And they kind of got away from that a little bit. It felt like, well, I mean, obviously LAFC at that point, they have nothing to lose. So they're going all out. You also have the fact that this is a coach who is potentially coaching his last game for this team. He has nothing to lose. So they threw everything at the Whitecaps, and the Whitecaps, I think they knew the change was coming, but they just didn't adapt well enough.
Yeah, it felt like they just lost the fundamentals of that first half and what has made them so good. Like I don't understand why they kept trying to play the long ball instead of continue with the short passes and everything.
You know what it is? It's one of those things where you have that lead and you start playing defense a little bit too early.
That's the thing,
right?
I wanted them to keep attacking.
It's Mourinho ball. 45 minutes left in the match.
Yeah, but
not to that extent, but it's that belief, right?
I mean, they barely tested Lloris in that second half, though. There was this one chance from the free kick from Sebastian Berhalter, Tristan Blackman, denied by stretching Hugo Lloris, and Blackman crashed into the post.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Blackman actually went down a couple of times. There was another time even before that where he had gone down. And I do wonder if the accumulation of those led to, unfortunately, which was his red or second yellow red card in the 93rd minute.
Yeah, I believe when he crashed into the post, I thought he should have been taken out right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. Not only that, but this is a guy that's just coming back from injury himself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Played a full 90 minutes. You had to wonder, right?
Yeah. But then I don't know about the second yellow. First, when watching in the stadium, it looked fine, but watching the highlights, I mean, it's a foul. Well, I'll give him that. And Blackman knocks Bouanga off the ball. A slight nudge, but it feels like Bouanga sold that one. And then the referee sends Blackman off.
Here's the thing. We're legislating this based off the fact that it's a second yellow in stoppage time in a playoff game. If this play had happened at any other point in the game and it was a first yellow, we wouldn't even be talking about it because we would just accept it as is. We're looking at this in terms of context, and I don't know if we should. A yellow is a yellow is a yellow. And I'm sorry, you can't body check someone. Yes, you can do shoulder to shoulder, but this wasn't shoulder to shoulder. This was man on, man on. You can't pick like that. Yes, it's a foul. I don't think anyone's arguing that it's not a foul. I think Blackman made this a very easy yellow to give. And I think we feel hard done by because of the context of everything else that I just mentioned.
I also understand it because referees tend to be less lenient when a player's on a second yellow. And
yeah, because you're in their head, right? You've already been checked off. You've already been told, don't do this again.
Even the slightest, we've seen it happen in many other football matches around the world. A guy in a second yellow gets sent off for something worse than the first one.
Yeah, we've already been told through Whitecaps communications they're not going to be challenging this. So Blackman will miss the Western Conference final match. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but yeah, it's a big loss.
And you know how I've said on the show that I wanted to see a free kick goal at BC Place, but wrong team. But I guess for you as a Spurs fan,
I'm sorry, but what a goal!
Yeah, we cannot deny that. Just what a delivery from Son.
I was watching it back because I was trying to see if it had taken a deflection off the wall. It didn't. It was just pinpoint accuracy into that top corner.
Though I will say that it was interesting to put two short guys in the wall, but nonetheless, great free kick from Human Son. And I just felt like, oh my God, no, this is Vancouver sports. This is, of course, this had to happen. Like the Whitecaps fans were in disbelief. The LAFC fans up top, obviously, were very euphoric. And the Korean
it was the lifeline, right? It sucked the air out of the building, except for a very, very select few behind the goal on the opposite side of the pitch. Right?
And the people waving Korean flags around the stadium.
That too. I mean, the one thing I think we can kind of talk about is the fact that there was 9 extra minutes given.
I don't understand.
It shocked me at the beginning, but it does make sense when you think of there was 3 separate injuries, three separate moments of players down on the pitch. The amount of time that took, the fact that you already had a goal in that half and there was the celebrations from that. Yep. You think about it and you're like, okay, I get it. 9 does seem a lot. I would have said maybe 7, but I mean,
we were saying 6.
Oh, I thought it was 9.
No, we were saying 6 in the press
box. 6, yeah. And I was thinking about it afterwards, and I was thinking, maybe 6 would have been a little bit light. That goal though in the 95th minute, I mean, credit to them. I don't know what else to say. They fought themselves back into the game.
Yeah, Son. That's why he's been so good since he joined LAFC. Yeah, why he's been one of the best players in the world for many years. Like at Spurs, he didn't really take much free kicks.
Didn't take any.
He didn't take any for Korea. I know he does, but
that's the joke is that he has more free kick goals with LAFC than he did with a decade with Spurs.
Yeah, and I saw a YouTube video later that night saying that why Son you'll never see Sun score a free kick. I'm like, well, I just did, and I was in the building.
Yeah. Goes to extra time, and being a man down, it was all LAFC. In the first 15 minutes, that first half of extra time, LAFC had 84% possession.
Yeah.
Now, to their credit, Whitecaps adapted. They were defending quite well, except about 5 minutes into extra time, Halal Balouni, who had come on when Blackman had the red card, goes down injured.
Axel Schuster confirmed on Sakaris and Price, I believe, yesterday or the day before. It's a torn ACL.
Yeah.
Which is very sad. Because that's the second
one in his career. Yeah. And I mean, he's done. He's done for the season. ACL, we don't know if he'll be back ready in time for the beginning of next season. He might be back in training, but I don't think he's going to be ready for the first maybe month or two. It just depends. That's going to be up to trainers, doctors, and what his body is capable of.
Yeah, but the old saying, bending but not breaking. That was the Whitecaps in extra time. Great. Takaoka was alert. The back line, did their job. Ryan Gold tracking back as, what he usually does.
They ended up, once it was to 9v11, at that point, Jaden Nelson had already been subbed on. They basically left him as the lone guy up top and, all 8 others behind the ball.
Yeah, and it was park the bus football, harem footy, terrorist ball, if you want to call it that, but it worked.
It was survival ball.
Survival? Again, that's actually better. Survival.
It was just survival. And I don't know, divine intervention of the soccer gods at some point.
Yeah.
The fact that in stoppage time, it was in the 122nd minute, I believe, when in a span of 8 seconds you had a crossbar, a post, and a crossbar.
Yeah, David Martinez shot/cross, post, Danny Bouanga, post, gets his own rebound. Crossbar, I don't know how he did not score there. I don't know, soccer gods, God, whatever you want to say, did the Whitecaps a favor. And not just those shots, but Martinez had one a few minutes earlier where he had a bit of an open net where he shot it right of the left post.
I know.
And there was another one before that. I forgot who shot it. Same kind of shot on the one time. LAFC were so wasteful in extra time, which helped the Whitecaps.
It did. And you know what? I think there's a little bit of that kind of frantic nature that creeps in, especially when you're thinking like, you have to win this or that's it. And if you're the team on the front foot, the team that's attacking, that doesn't benefit you. When you're defending that, it's basically put your body on the line. You're not trying to do anything else. But if you're attacking, you're trying to do too much individual, and you start to lose your shape. You start to lose what made you you. And you kind of started to feel that with a little bit with LAFC. Yes, they had chances. But out of all the chances they had in that last half hour, only one was on target.
Yeah,
because posts don't count as being on target.
No, they do not. Well, I think they should because they're part of the target. But
I think they should too. But they only had one on target, and that was in the first bit of stoppage time or of the extra time.
Yeah,
so I in a weird way, the nature of the game almost benefited the Whitecaps because they they were just relying to get to penalties. They were never going to go and go on a break. They knew that.
Yeah, even though Jaden Nelson's like one of the fastest guys on the team, it was never going to happen.
Well, you got to get him the ball first, and that's
he did get the ball, but LAFC's back line, with how high up they were, prevented Nelson from going on the break. But credit to the Whitecaps, everybody on that pitch for, doing the job. The crowd definitely helped because every block, every tackle, every save, even how simple it was, it felt like a goal was scored.
It did. And you know what? It was cheered as if a goal was scored.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Penalties.
Yeah. The post again came through.
Yeah.
Son hits the post, gets catch Takaoka the wrong way, but it's revealed after the game that he was cramped up at extra
You
time,
could
and
see him limping.
you see him, grimace a little after taking the penalty. But remember before the game I told you that if it went to penalties, the Whitecaps would
Yeah.
have an advantage because Hugo
Yeah.
Lloris's penalty record, especially in shootouts, is not good.
It's average. Put it that way. Yeah, he saves 25% of the time, but the thing is in most penalties, you're expected to score 80% of the time. So, I mean, he's doing
From what I remember,
better the expected job, but yeah.
Watching him like throughout his career, penalty shootouts, I can't think of one where his team actually won.
It's not a strength. It's not a detriment in this game, but it's not what you know him for.
Yeah, like the World Cup final too. Like that's what I thought of, where he didn't save a single penalty.
Yeah.
So Sebastian Berhalter converted his. So did Nelson Gauld. What also helped was that Marco Delgado. I don't know. Was this like a half Panenka or something? He just
it felt like a weird Panenka that he decided to turn into a field goal. I
don't know. Maybe he's trying to try out for the BC Lions or something.
You know what? I know sometimes players try to get cute with penalties. I don't understand why you don't just do what Jaden Nelson did. Pick a corner and drill the thing. Because even if a goalkeeper gets a hand on it, it's going to go right through them. Pick a corner and just drill it. It's the Harry Kane version of taking a penalty. Just put it not into the back of the net, put it through the net.
Yeah. Every Whitecap that took a penalty had that mentality. Though I was nervous with Nelson's run-up, but he scored anyway. Like Berhalter and Gauld, they got Lloris diving the right way, but the power overwhelmed.
That's it, right? And then credits to Matthias Laborda for finishing off the job and having ice in his veins to do so.
Man of the match, given not just the goal he scored, how good defensively he was.
It was the work in that first half of taking out Ordaz.
Yeah, just BC Place just erupted as loud as you'll ever hear it. I mean, in terms of all-time MLS Cup playoff games, that has to be up there.
It has to be up there. But you know what? Someone else put out a thing saying, yes, it is a great MLS game, but it might not even be the best MLS playoff game of this playoffs. And they were talking about the 3-3 match that was earlier with yeah. And you know what? It is. It's kind of like in general, this has been a great playoffs.
Yeah. And some MLS moves he put on Twitter that there's more engagement with these MLS Cup playoffs. I guess a big reason is the Stars are in deep runs. Messi, Mueller, Son.
It's true. It's true.
Son's out now, but it's just that's a game I'll never forget. It's a game you'll never forget.
No.
Anyone who was there will never forget. It's just, it was absolute cinema. The Whitecaps, they showed what they were made of. They're a resilient team. They went through injuries, sickness, international call-ups all year. So it's no surprise that down to 9 minute extra time, they still prevailed.
Yeah. So I guess the only question is what's next?
Yeah. So it felt like a final, but it's not a final. San Diego FC, who beat Minnesota, very tenacious Minnesota side, 1-0, thanks to Andres Dreyer's goal. Both teams looked tired. The pitch looked awful because of the college football, which
there had been 2 college football games apparently in the 8 days before that.
Which explained why the game was on a Monday.
Yeah.
Minnesota looked very good defensively. First half, San Diego couldn't break them down. And then
you see that one, I think it was in the first half where I can't remember who the defender was, saved it off the line.
Yeah, Minnesota had a good chance. Yeah. Ian Pilcher, that young defender.
Yeah.
Saved it off the line with Cisniega was out of his crease. There's also this one chance where Yeboah, the partial breakaway, Cisniega slipped, but he still managed to beat Yeboah to it.
Yeah.
By the way, he's their backup because CJ DeSantos got injured in the Portland series.
Yeah, that's true. Didn't look that good either. Like it was a kind of a bad one.
Yeah, but this game tight, kind of a slog, but Andres Dreyer was a difference maker, and San Diego will host the Western Conference Final. Had Minnesota won, it would have been at BC Place, but oh well, it's off to San Diego, home of SeaWorld and a bunch of other stuff.
There's a lot of good storylines in this. One, you've got the run of what the Whitecaps have been doing, but you also have the fact that San Diego, no expansion team has ever gotten this far in the playoff.
Not since the Chicago Fire in 1998, and the Chicago
Yeah.
Fire won it that year.
That's right. Actually, sorry, you are right. I did kind of a different era of MLS. I mean, it wasn't a lot of teams, but yeah, you're right.
Still, just an impressive season by San Diego that continues, and they're hosting it. Whitecaps lost to San Diego in June at BC Place 5-3 in that crazy game. But remember, the Whitecaps, that was during the Gold Cup where like almost half the starters were away on international duty or injured.
Yeah.
And then in July, it was a tight 1-1 draw. And that was the game that ended Ranko Veselinovic's season.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
So the Whitecaps still have not beaten San Diego yet. So that's extra motivation.
Yeah.
And
we don't have to worry about Alowski.
Yeah, because
so that's something.
he's done for the season, but Whitecaps do have to worry about Andres Dreyer, MLS Newcomer of the Year.
Phenomenal goal that he had to win the goal, to win the game. It was a great goal.
He's also a creator because he had a lot of assists when they were here back in June.
Very, very justified Newcomer of the Year.
Yeah, he has 4 goals and 2 assists in the playoffs alone.
Wow.
So there's that. Of course, there's you can't forget Chucky Lozano, who came off the bench, but he's still a dangerous player. The midfielder Yepe Tverskov, or Yep, that's how you pronounce it. They have a lot of good players, San Diego, and this is a team that many people kind of doubted because they're an expansion team. Kind of like the Whitecaps, people had them outside the playoff picture. People had San Diego outside the playoff picture before this season, but these are the teams in the Western Conference Final.
Absolutely.
So San Diego is a very attack-minded team, and the attack goes through Dreyer. With Blackman out, it'd be interesting to see what the defense looks like.
My guess is you're going to have a defensive pairing at center back of Laborda and Prusa.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Pupe will be on the bench, but to give him a start in this, I think is not the greatest. You know what? A lot of it's also going to depend on how far Tate Johnson is in his recovery. The hope is that he is back and ready to go.
He was on the bench in FC.
Yeah. Or do you start looking at the possibility of, say, dropping someone back like an Ali Ahmed?
Yeah.
Right?
It's possible. I do worry about Johnson against Dreyer because he has struggled against Dreyer in the past. But it's again like the AFC game, I expect fireworks from this because these two teams were among the best offensive teams in MLS all season.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Whitecaps, you could say they have the edge defensively, but Blackman being suspended is, the big loss there. But San Diego's back line with Pilcher, McVeigh, Dua, Bombino, they look good against Minnesota.
Yeah.
So Whitecaps, San Diego FC this Saturday, 6:00 our time. There will be a watch party at BC Place. I believe tickets are going on sale today. They're only $10. All proceeds goes to the Whitecaps Foundation. So, Whitecaps aren't hosting the Western Conference Final, but you can be at BC Place if you want to watch it. I don't know. This is going to be very tight. A lot of attack, a lot of firepower, a lot of storylines.
Yeah.
So There's no reason why the Whitecaps can't win.
Get the first goal.
Yes.
You know what your record is with the first goal, and it takes the crowd out of it.
Yeah, because that game's already sold out.
Yeah.
On the other side, Miami demolished FC Cincinnati. We both got that prediction wrong. Lionel Messi did Lionel Messi things.
Yeah.
Cincinnati literally had no answers on their home turf. 4-0. A goal and 3 assists for Messi.
Yeah.
Silvetti, I think that 17-year-old striker, started instead of Luis Suarez, which I believe they'll continue to go.
Didn't he also have the assist, Silvetti, on Messi's first goal?
Yeah, and he scored.
Yeah.
Tadeo Allende got a brace as well. So Miami have the remaining home field advantage in this playoffs as they host New York City FC, who I apologize to because I wasn't familiar with their game because I thought they were cooked without Alonso Martinez, but New York did the job against Philadelphia. In New York has been one of the best road teams all season.
Yeah.
In MLS.
Yeah.
And all their wins in the playoffs have been on the road. Maximiliano Morales' 27th minute goal was the difference maker. And New York, transition is their bread and butter. They play a very defensive game. It's a 5-4-1. So their low block is nasty because Philadelphia had a lot of trouble figuring that out. Matt Freese also. He's also he's a good goalkeeper. If New York were to beat Miami, transition, good defensive play. And Miami, we all know how they can be frail defensively. But when it's Miami's day, they're unstoppable.
That Eastern Conference has the possibility of being a blowout if Miami gets off to the races early and forces New York off their game where they can't be as pragmatic as they normally are. It's going to be tough to stop that machine. But if New York can do what they did against Philly and just frustrate them, frustrate them,
how they play their game.
Take their 1 or 2 chances that they get. Yeah, that's going to be the game plan.
I won't be surprised if there was an upset, though.
I wouldn't be either.
Because, New York has 3 star players out. They're a team. They don't have big names, but they're still a good team. They got this far for a reason. Playing against Miami's star-studded attack, their quick attack, versus a stingy low block.
Yeah.
So the way I see New York winning this is to do what they do on the transition and catch Miami napping. Miami wins this if they get off the front foot early and Messi does Messi things.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, I think Miami wins this game, but don't be surprised if New York does.
Yeah.
So,
you know what? All 4 teams that are at this stage have it in their ability to win their respective games, right?
Yeah, all 4 teams have in their ability to win MLS Cup.
Yeah. So, yeah, now it's let's just see who's the best that prevails on their day.
Yeah, and so if the Whitecaps beat San Diego, if they face Miami, it'll be in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
But if it's New York City, MLS Cup final will be at BC Place. So
still a chance.
There's still a chance.
They got to do their job first, so we'll worry about that one first.
Yeah. So conference finals are this weekend. It should be exciting. Should be fun. And for the Whitecaps, let's hope this magical season continues. Big news in MLS. We talked about Wilfred Nancy and the possibility of him going to Celtic. Looks very possible now.
Yeah. Apparently, initially, I think it was Tom Bogert on this side that was talking about the fact that Crew have finally said, yes, you can go ahead and negotiate. It looks like the deal is now all just down to contracts. There will be compensation for the Crew.
Yeah.
The negotiation is on that. And then there's also the contracts for Nancy's backroom team that he wants to bring with him. Now, this is the same backroom team that he's had with the Crew that he had brought initially from Montreal. So it's just a matter of getting that done. The hope is that it's done for the upcoming weekend. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, Fabrizio Romano is saying that it's almost agreed, pretty much.
Yeah, it's very, very close.
Sports is saying that Nancy's just Kwame and Padu.
Reuniting of Alistair Johnson with Nancy.
Yeah, because they did some special things together in Montreal. But it's just Nancy is not Canadian, but this is a very good Canadian soccer story.
Yeah,
he has Canadian citizenship because he spent a lot of years with the Montreal Academy, and then the first team, and of course, we all know how that ended.
He was initially from France.
Yeah, and did great things with Columbus Crew. Won MLS Cup, took them to the Champions Cup final, and now he's going to coach the biggest team in Scotland.
Yeah,
if all goes to plan.
Just don't say that remark in Glasgow.
Yeah, I bet Joey Saputo must be punching the air right now. Or has
no, I'm pretty sure he still lives in his own delusions.
Yeah, and I don't think he even knows because he's too busy with Bologna. Yeah. I'm just looking here. Someone, MLS Aces podcast tweeted that recent years, other names from MLS to Europe have been Ronnie Delia, Patrick Vieira, and Jesse Marsh. And Wilfred Nancy with that company.
Yeah.
He deserves this job.
It's a big job. It's a big move. There's going to be a big spotlight on him, and he's not going to have the leeway of time that you kind of sometimes get afforded a little bit in MLS. But I think he has the ability to make his mark, and he's got a hell of a team to do it with.
I mean, he has a very exciting style of football, like very free-flowing, attack-minded. But it's a big loss for Columbus and MLS as a whole.
It is, but I think they knew this was coming. Apparently, in the last contract that he had with Columbus, it was built within there that if such an offer comes from somewhere in Europe, that they would kind of just let him go, with compensation, obviously, but they wouldn't stand in his way. And to Columbus's credit, they're honoring that, which is nice to see.
Yeah, and I'd be interesting to see who is Nancy's successor. My money be on Jim Curtin.
Right now, I think that's got to be the smart money. Yeah.
Yeah. I would assume our old pal Vanni Sartini would be in the running, but he's probably a dark horse.
Yeah.
So, big loss for MLS and Columbus, but they'll bounce back. Columbus.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the Vancouver Rise, fresh off their NSL championship, who were honored at the Whitecaps game, rightfully so. You attended their year-end media availability, so you can share the takeaways you had.
Yeah, there's not a lot really to report. Basically, it's the fact that first year is done, and now it's trying to figure out what's going to go on for the second year. There's no information about dates or the second season or what's going to go on with the off season. A lot of that is being discussed right now, but the main thing is that everyone, coaches and players alike, are just going to take some time off. Even Anya Heiner-Muller said that she's taken off to San Diego, where her husband is, because he's coaching down there, and just taking time with family and friends. That's basically the story with everyone. The one thing is while no player has really confirmed, except for Nikki Staten, which she probably wasn't supposed to, confirmed that they're going to be back with the Whitecap or with the Rise next year. But it does sound like the core of that team will be back.
Yeah, there's really no surprise here. I mean,
even the players that we talked to, and we talked with Quinn, we talked with, like I said, Nikki Stanton, Samantha Chang, Morgan McCaslin, and who else did we talk with? Shannon Wooler. It does sound they alluded to the fact that they would all be back next season. It does sound like that's the general game plan, but there's work to be done, right? You won, but now it's to figure out how to stay on top, right? So
the only thing harder than reaching the summit is staying there.
Yeah.
So
The other thing, not that's necessarily Rise related, but is NSL related, and we can talk about it a little bit because we're going to be talking about CPL and Winnipeg coming up, is there has been a little bit of writing on the wall that when it comes to the potential expansion team that they're looking for, Winnipeg has kind of seemed to pop up as the front runner potentially of an expansion an expansion team for NSL. So we can see if that happens, but we're still a year out of that as well.
Yeah, and should also mention Hollywood has been called up for Canada.
Yeah.
For their upcoming friendlies against Japan. First game is on the 29th. Second game will be on December 2nd. They will be playing in Nagasaki. Just really got to figure out how to put the ball in the net. Get going.
Hollywood did it in the playoffs.
Yeah, and
twice.
They gave her some minutes. Last window, she barely got any minutes.
Yeah.
Vanessa Gilles is returned from injury, so that helps the
big addition, or not even an addition, but getting her back. Yeah.
Good.
So we talked a little bit about CPL. Unfortunately, it's one step forward, one step back. We've added FC Super de Quebec. We lose Valor.
Yeah, so Valor FC is no more. They have folded, and it's depressing, but I felt like this was coming because
there's always a possibility. It sounded like things were a little bit more dire than I think we even realized. Apparently, players were being fed meals of what hadn't sold at concessions. Winnipeg is a great place for soccer. The infrastructure of what they were using, playing where the Blue Bombers play and all that, is just not a good setup.
Yeah, ownership. I believe it's the same. It was the same ownership as the Bombers, and just not enough investment. Low attendance. The stadium situation was poor. Yeah. Team never made the playoffs, by the way, so that didn't help.
No.
And also, the games aren't on linear television, most of them. So it just felt like the writing was on the wall. And I'm just looking here. Remember a couple of years ago that Valor had a chance to score, but he missed it from like an inch on the goal line? That's Valor's legacy.
Yeah, pretty much. The one thing is the kind of the sad thing for not only for Winnipeg but for Manitoba in general is they are now without any soccer team at the professional or semi-professional level because there's no League One system in Manitoba. This isn't great, especially when you now have a big hole in the middle of the country where there's no CPL representation.
Yeah, the Prairies.
One of the big embarrassments was always the fact of how can you be a national league if you don't have a team in Quebec? Well, how can you be a national league if you've got such a giant gaping hole in the middle of the country?
Yeah, FC Edmonton folded a few years ago. Their expansion plan for Saskatoon or whatever it was failed because of the stadium, and now Valor's gone.
Yeah.
You also got a question, as exciting the league can be, the viability of the CPL.
Yeah, that's always been a thing. I think one of the things that's going to benefit them is the fact that they will be on linear TV next season. I think that'll finally get the eyes on that league that they've always required. But the fact that you're 8 years behind schedule, 7 years, 8 years behind on this, they might need to take some drastic measures. Now, the thing is we got to remember the MLS in the late 90s went through a contraction period as well. I do wonder if this might be the CPL kind of hitting this as well.
Yeah.
But they now how do you get out of this? Because if you don't, the alternative is not what anyone wants to see.
Yeah. The league failed Valor, and the city of Winnipeg and the ownership group failed Valor. Like, soccer had a chance to grow there.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to grow it when you can't, invest. You're not investing into the squad. The games aren't on linear TV, and you can't convert the hockey and CFL fans.
It's the TV thing, and it's the other thing, and we've heard this time and time again. Diana Matheson talked about it. Casey Stoney talked about it. Other individuals on the men's side of the game have talked about it. It's the infrastructure in this country. The infrastructure in this country we don't have the stadiums for the level of what soccer would be at a professional setup in this country. You need that stadium that's between that 5 to 10,000. The training facilities doesn't exist. The one BC is set up great, but soccer has always been vibrant in this province. You need to move it out to other areas outside of like the urban pockets, right? And in areas that like Winnipeg, which, it's not really a soccer bastion. It was always going to be an uphill battle, but you didn't have anyone that was willing to fight that uphill battle.
Yeah. So look at the CPL as a team like Ryland, Lower Mainland, Calgary, Toronto area, Hamilton, Quebec now, Ottawa, but we were excited when Super joined, like, 9 teams, possible for more. Now we're stuck at 8. It's just, sad to see.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Again, Valor's attendances were so abysmal. I think the biggest game they've ever got in terms of attendance was the game they play against the Whitecaps this past year.
It may have been. I mean,
yeah. And I'm also reading here that Rob Gale, former Valor head coach, have said that they were giving the players leftover concession food for post game.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. No, I mean, you can talk about Rob Gale and whether or not he was an acceptable coach in the first place, but there was more than one problem in Valor. Let's put it that way.
It felt doomed to fail because nobody was helping it grow.
Yeah.
So rest in peace to Valor.
Hope we see you again at some point under a more robust system
and a better stadium.
Yeah. All right.
Let's move over to Europe. So good week for Chelsea. I'm not going to talk about this game too much. 2-0 win at Turf Moor over Burnley. Up and down performance. Some good moments of football, some shaky ones, but you know what they say, a win's a win. 3 points is 3 points. Pedro Neto in the first half header. He's been on fire lately from the corner kick. And then second half, beautiful same transition goal. Starts from Robert Sanchez, by the way, who is from his distribution. Enzo Fernandez finished it. Yeah, just overall, it's not like, wow, this was amazing. I thought they should have scored 3, 4, 5, or 6, but a win is a win, especially against a team like Burnley. But the big game yesterday, FC Barcelona at Stamford Bridge, Lamine Yamal versus Esteban Willian. People were saying, Barcelona's going to destroy Chelsea. Lamine Yamal will be all over that back line. Pedri's going to destroy them. So is Ferran Torres. When will people learn that when people doubt Chelsea, Chelsea managed to find a way? 2012, Bayern Munich. 2021, Manchester City. The Club World Cup final last summer against PSG. And now Barcelona.
Yep.
So, I don't want to hear any of this, Barcelona, we're down a man. And the same excuses people say, Liverpool were out of form. PSG didn't care about the Club World Cup. Nobody cares about the Club World Cup. People need to realize, respect Chelsea. Chelsea are a good team. The banter era is over. And this is a team that can compete with anybody. Like this game, first whistle, dominance. And remember, Chelsea had no natural striker up top. When I saw the lineup, I was like, interesting. But try Zendo Maresca, and it worked. Pedro Neto was the false 9. And it worked because look at the way he took on the defenders, the way he pressed. And he was one of the creators of the first goal. Cucurella finds Neto with the ball, but then it goes off Jules Koundé. He backheeled it into his own net.
Yeah.
But Chelsea could have won this game 6 or 7-0. There's a handball early in the game. That's Enzo Fernandez's goal was disallowed, and then offside on his second one. Poor guy Could have had a brace. Like, Barcelona had no answer. There was that one chance where Ferran Torres just completely screwed up, like 3 minutes in the match, but I can't really think of any other. The ones that they did take were right at Robert Sanchez. And speaking of Lamine Yamal and Cucurella, where was Lamine Yamal? Where was he? In Mark Cucurella's pocket. Because Cucurella was all over him. Like, he could not get anything going. And Chelsea have a wonder kid of their own. Esteban, second half, he just takes on the defenders and just from that angle beats Juan Garcia. Telling y'all this kid is special. There's a reason why they called him Messinho when he was in Brazil. He's broken Neymar's records there at 17. Yeah. Like, Lamine Yamal, who this kid's a likely future Ballon d'Or winner. Like, Chelsea have not seen a player with that kind of skill since Eden Hazard. And at this rate, he could be better than Eden Hazard once his career is over.
Which is something.
Yeah, like...
Especially from a Chelsea fan.
Yeah. 18 years old. You remember how you said that you worried about Lamine Yamal and his ego?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a thing with Esteban.
No, which is phenomenal, right?
He's a very quiet kid. Like, he doesn't really speak English, though, which is a big reason.
And it's not that you have to be quiet. It's just that you can recognize your talent, but still listen to those around you. And I think that's the big difference. Is like when someone believes that they are the finished product and they're ready to go and better than everyone else around you, and you're 17. I'm sorry, but that's not the sort of attitude you should have at 37.
If you ask Esteban, how do you think? He's definitely going to say, "Oh, I'm not finished."
Yeah, absolutely, right.
I want to get better. Like, Maresca loves him. His teammates loved him. And this guy doesn't party, by the way. When he's not playing football, he's going to church and playing drums there.
All right.
Praying. He's a devout Christian. And what also helped was his family moved with him to London so he can adapt.
That's big.
I mean, he's doing a good job of adapting on and off the pitch. And then the third goal, Enzo Fernandez actually got a goal contribution, and he found Liam Delap, which I hope that gets Liam Delap going. Because he's got the tools and talent. Just Santos had a goal disallowed, but he still played well. Like, everybody played well. Moises Caicedo was Moises Caicedo. Chalobah and Fofana, very good. See, this is what a healthy Wesley Fofana does. He's smart. He just does the job. And, he leads. Chalobah's always better when he has someone better next to him. And Robert Sanchez, too. Distribution again. Like, he's been in good form lately.
Yeah.
Hope that continues. And, yeah, the Mike Maignan rumors have popped up again, but it feels like they should prioritize center back more. But if you can get Maignan in, why not? So, yeah, just don't doubt this team. This is a team that can compete for all the trophies this year. They made Barcelona look like a League One BC side. And no disrespect to League One BC. They have a lot of good talent there coming out of here in British Columbia. But, yeah, this is a defining performance from this core for Clear Lake. For Enzo Maresca, too. Like, tactical masterclass. Everybody did their job. And the world needs to show Chelsea respect. And I think back to Jamie Carragher, who said, "Oh, how can you be champions of the world if you haven't beat the champions of England and Spain?" They just did that. So Chelsea are the rightful champions of the world. And yeah, like, the window wasn't great, but Maresca is cooking with what he has. And that's what every good manager should do. And he's making ballsy decisions, like having no natural striker against Barcelona. If you were like a neutral, you'd be thinking, why is he doing that?
Yeah.
And it worked. And he played Reece James in the midfield, which worked again. He was good. Everybody did well. So, well done to Chelsea. And Arsenal is next. Hope this continues. By the way, unfortunately, Spurs couldn't do Chelsea or any other team any favor against Arsenal.
Again, a guy that Spurs have been after for over a year goes to another team and haunts them.
And then he scores a hat trick.
A hat trick, yeah. He's a. I just wish it was with a different team. Spurs need to start looking at who they are right now. I don't really want to talk too much about this game, but one, I will say, if you get a chance, take a look at Richarlison's goal. It was a fun goal to watch.
Yeah. One of the best consolation goals you'll ever see.
Yeah, but we have to start looking at Thomas Frank and the Spurs kind of toothless attack, because it ends up being moments like what Richarlison has rather than actual goals through some sort of buildup. I don't know what it is. I don't think he has gotten the best out of players like Javi Simmons yet. I don't know if it's the fact that he's still just in a holding pattern waiting for Madison and Kulusevski to finally get back, which I don't think that's going to be for a while. But
Madison's out for the year.
There's questions about what's going on right now, and I think you have to start looking at Thomas Frank. I want him to be the guy, and I'm not willing to give up on him yet, but I need to see something now. It's been too long.
I don't know what Spurs are when I watch them.
And that's the good question. I don't know who they are right now, right? I don't know who you are. I don't know why your number one goal scorer is a center back. Right? There's just a lot of questions. The only other thing we can talk about Spurs is apparently they're in the market for a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
A little bit surprising.
But Vicario's not bad. He's not world class. Underrated, though. I'll say that.
I mean, there's been a talk about him. He's kind of on the cusp of it. Like he's been, sniffing around the Italian setup if he's going to be the guy there, but he just hasn't taken that extra jump yet. I don't know. Do you start playing Kinski, seeing if he can make a difference, right? I don't know what the answer is right now, but I don't feel like there's going to be a lot of change in terms of how this team is producing until you get to January and see if they shake something up. I don't know. We'll have to see if there is going to be a shakeup. I can't quite get a read on this new ownership structure and the whole pairing between Paratici and Lang as kind of co-sporting directors, if they're looking to do anything like that. I've got more questions than I have answers right now when it comes to Spurs, and it just makes it difficult to talk about them.
Yeah, it's just, what is Spurs? Like, I have no idea what kind of team they are, but at least, it's just Chelsea. We know what Chelsea are, even though they don't. Cole Palmer's still injured.
Yeah,
like stubbed his toe. But Spurs,
they're not set up to deal with that sort of adversity right now, or they have the ability. They just don't have the leadership up top.
Like, who is their core players? If I'm looking, Van de Ven, kudos given his form, I guess. Madison, Romero, yeah, but right now, like the healthy players, I can't figure out other than like Van de Ven and kudos.
Even that, like they have quality players in the midfield, but they're constantly rotated. Is it Bentancur? Yeah, is it Sarr? Are you just going to go with a young core with like say Bergvall? And also, where's someone like Archie Gray? Like he's basically last year he played pretty much every single position in the park. Now, what's the last time we saw him? Right? Like
I mean, the guy has potential, but you're not letting him play.
No, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this team.
All right. I think we'll take you out of your misery. And another team where we don't know what's going on with them, particularly with Xabi Alonso and Vinicius Jr. at Real Madrid. It seems like there's beef there. And
this is the story of Real Madrid. When you get that many egos in a room, who's going to prevail? And I hate to say it, it ends up always being a battle between a coach and players.
No one's bigger than the club, by the way.
No one's bigger than the club. But I do feel that sometimes coaches need to put their foot down. And
I think Xabi Alonso is trying to do that.
Yeah. But the thing is Vinny it wasn't even working when Carlos Ancelotti was there. And name another bigger name in terms of a coach than Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah, and ever since Vinny lost the Ballon d'Or to Rodri, it's just been downhill.
Yeah.
He's turned down apparently a 20 million euro per year salary, and he's asking for a contract similar to Cristiano Ronaldo's 30 million euro yearly salary.
You'll get it if you go to Saudi Arabia. That's it.
Yeah, that's.
You
I
won't
think.
get it anywhere else. Any other team would look at that and laugh you out of the building.
Yeah, even Florentino Perez would, and he likes giving up big money.
Yeah. So hey, if you know what, for Vinicius Jr., if it is the money that is the only thing that's important, that's fine.
Leave. Go to Saudi Arabia.
Go to Saudi Arabia. If you actually want to play football, if the football is what matters, start changing your attitude.
And
because right now, I look at this, and you've got a coach that is trying to manage and put together a team, and that's the coach's job.
Yeah.
Players sometimes need to shut up and do their job. And if that's not going to be Vinicius, that's fine. There are players, there are areas you can go to do what it is you want to do, where you can be the big guy. But stop being the adult that's behaving like an infant.
Yeah. By the way, get some goals and assists. 10 matches, no goal contributions.
Yeah.
So if you're asking for that much money, prove it.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's just like you have talent, but show it, prove that, you're talented and not just, a big name like, no, I'm the guy, but show you're the guy.
Yeah, exactly right.
So, back to England. Now, the whole Sheffield Wednesday kerfuffle takes another turn because there's rumors that they could be merged with the other Sheffield team.
Yeah, so there's been a number of teams that have put up the money to be potential buyers. Basically, you have to have funding proof of £50 million to be viable. At least, I think there's 3 formal bidders that are considered serious to this. But there is one offer that's apparently coming in that wants to eventually merge Sheffield Wednesday with Sheffield United.
These given the history of these teams,
fan bases hate each other. This sounds like it is a group. Do you know what this sounds like? It sounds like an American group that doesn't understand history,
like a Ted Lasso type. Who
it sounds
you play Sheffield on a Wednesday. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
So we'll have to wait and see. But this has the potential of becoming a very hilarious story.
It's sickening. Like, these are 2 historic clubs that hate each other.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, we should merge the New York Rangers and the New York Islanders or something. That's what it sounds like. I know, like, different.
But yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And no, you know what it would be like? It would be like walking into Manchester and saying, "Oh, you have 2 clubs in this city that are in the same league. Maybe there should just be one. Let's put you together." Put City and United together.
Same with the LA MLS teams. Imagine someone said that.
From someone that has no idea because they're from a completely different country that just doesn't understand the history and what these teams are.
Yeah. Very stupid. Oh, by the way, one of the bidders for Sheffield Wednesday, Mike Ashley. Newcastle fans, look away.
All right. That's a name I haven't heard in a minute.
Yep. So the FIFA World Cup draw is on December 5th. We'll be watching to determine who Canada plays in their group. It's been revealed that top 4 seeded countries will not meet until the semifinal for the first time in bid to keep them apart, which makes sense.
Yeah. So right now, your top seeded countries, and they basically have announced it, is Spain, Argentina, France, England. So they will not, they're basically, the way the bracket's going to work is those 4 nations will be in different areas where they could not possibly meet potentially until a semifinal. And the whole idea is that you can have like your biggest teams have a path where they could be the ones playing each other. You're not going to have like your biggest teams in the world based off FIFA rankings, meeting in the round of 16 or something like that, right?
That makes sense. And for Canada, pot 1 with teams with those teams and with Mexico and the USA, so they won't meet in the group stage, but I'm just looking at the pots here. Ben Steiner, I'm actually going to bring it up here. He says, whoops, wrong button. Share screen. You know what? I'm thinking doing like a live watch along during the draw.
That'd be cool.
Just, so here's the pots. Steiner says his dream draw is Canada, Australia, Scotland, Cape Verde. I'd like that too.
You know what? A Canada-Scotland game, if that happened here, would be massive.
Michael McCall, he'd be in Dreamland.
I don't know if
I'd like to
know who to cheer for.
Yeah, I'd like to see Canada play a team like Colombia or Morocco or Japan or Korea or Senegal.
You know what? Morocco would be a way to exercise a few demons.
Yeah, or Canada playing against Paraguay, like Kubas. Imagine Kubas and Ali Ahmed facing each other in the World Cup at BC Place.
Yeah. I mean, there is the possibility that you could get some pretty dangerous teams. Like, you imagine you get drawn with, say, Croatia. Imagine if you get drawn with, like, even in Egypt or in Norway, which could be very, very difficult teams, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, that should be interesting. So, you know what? The more I'm thinking about it, I think we'll do it. Live watch along. Cup draw.
When is that? The 5th is Friday, so yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of the World Cup, Ronaldo, Cristiano, Mr. Su, you remember he got sent off against Ireland for that elbow? Well, he's cleared to play Portugal's first match of the World Cup, despite that.
Yeah, so basically, Article 27 in FIFA's rules says that FIFA can fully or partially suspend a disciplinary measure for a probationary period of between 1 to 4 years. So with the violent nature of his ban, or of what he did in that Ireland game, he got a 3-match ban. He'll serve 1. The other 2 are going to be deferred for a year until after the World Cup. By the letter of the law, this can happen, but essentially, this has not really happened before when it comes to a World Cup. So you can argue this is preferential treatment to get one of your stars to play.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
I hate to say it, but it really does.
Someone, shout out to Andy, our good friend. He said this is like the time the NCAA suspended Johnny Manziel, and next game was against LSU or something, but he was allowed to play, but he had to miss the first half of a game against against like Tennessee or something. That's what it felt like.
There have been moments where stuff like it has happened where there was a ban given during the World Cup, where then kind of subsequent kind of what would have happened was deferred. 2014, Laurent Koscielny, French defender, slapped a Ukraine player in the first leg of the World Cup playoff. He was automatically banned for next, and basically FIFA decided, you know what, we will not have that, so he was allowed to play. It has happened in instances like that, but not to the extent of kind of what the level of violent conduct was for that elbow, the amount of suspension that it was, and also for the name recognition of Cristiano Ronaldo. I have an idea that in maybe his first few games of Portugal in the World Cup, you might get a few jeers.
Oh, you definitely will.
Yeah.
If it's here, especially.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see where this goes. England again. Liverpool lose again. This time to Nottingham Forest. Yes. Nottingham Forest. At home. 3-0.
Yeah. Sean Dyche, who would have thought?
To 12th in the Premier League. Everton are above them on goal differential. And Man United are as well.
Yeah.
6-6 Liverpool. Nothing going against Nottingham Forest. Poor defense against Forest. So Arne Slot is on the hot seat.
Yeah. I don't know how else to put it. Like, you can't spend this much money in an offseason and not expect some sort of return. I think it's ludicrous that they spent that much money in the first place, but it's not working.
Well, that was always a possible. Like Isak, where is he? Dorian Wirtz, where is he? Itakike, non-existent. Just
Well,
all
even
the
guys that have been around, like McAllister, are starting to look human.
yeah, Gravenberg also. Yeah. Ever since Konate's been linked to Real Madrid, his form has dropped.
Yeah.
So Van Dijk, now the memes are coming up again that he might be washed. Salah also he might be washed.
Well, you're also seeing the pundits kind of circling like vultures. The amount of time that Wayne Rooney has been talking about basically a leadership void, talking about like where is Salah? You're having former players look at this and going, there are real problems in this team right now.
Where is Salah? Where is Van Dijk's leadership? Just no cohesion again with this Liverpool team.
Yeah.
They play PSV today in the Champions League and better win that one.
Yeah.
Just seeing that the last 10 games, 3 wins. So gotta figure something out because at this rate, Slot's gone by Christmas.
Yeah.
And one last thing will end here. Canadian strikers over this past few days been scoring for their club teams. Jonathan David got the winner for Juventus against Bodo Glimt, tap and goal, but still a goal is a goal. Hope that gets him going as he came off the bench. The other David also scored. Promise David scored the only goal against Galatasaray. And on the weekend, Tenny Oluwaseyi scored a late winner against Mallorca. Minnesota United could have used him against San Diego. And Daniel Jebison also scored a late equalizer against Watford.
Yeah, so that's doing really well. Promise David, links to the Premier League are starting.
Hope this translates. Hope these guys get going, especially Jonathan David, for the next few months. And this translates to good form for the national team ahead of the World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Splatelli, very attack-minded coach. Hope he unlocks Jonathan David at Juventus.
Yeah.
So that'll conclude this week's episode. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Follow me on Twitter, JoshuaRay00, Nathan and Dirk, podcast at Terminal City FC. Check out our Blue Sky, Instagram, and YouTube. So, Western Conference Final this weekend for the Whitecaps. Hopefully we'll have more to talk about. Hopefully we have an MLS Cup Final to preview in depth next week. And hopefully the Whitecaps magical season continues. Continue our writing and everything. Check out all the other Area 51 Sports Network stuff. Vancouver Golden Eyes coverage. They won their first game. Vancouver Canucks. Don't want to talk about them.
Everyone's for sale.
Seattle Seahawks are doing pretty well. Some WHL coverage from the other shows. And just, a lot of sports happening. But right now, the Whitecaps are the talk of town. And hopefully this continues.
We'll see you on Saturday.
Yep. That concludes this week's episode. Peace out.
Take care.